Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this is my Sunday chat. Well, we're still in lockdown. Thank you very much for joining me. I just want to say big thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. I meant to mention this a while ago, but since the last Sunday chat, which was 2 weeks ago, we crossed the boundary of 10,000 subscribers, and we're going strong, which is fantastic. There are more and more people coming along and enjoying what I'm doing, and it's all down to you really, your enthusiasm for the walks and the videos that I make. And I just want to say thank you so much for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, then also please do subscribe. It's really good. It gets the videos out to more people who might enjoy the walks. I try to bring many of the walks and the exploration videos, particularly in this time of lockdown, to those people who are unable to get out themselves. And I know from the comments, which has been brilliant, how much many of you enjoy the videos. So thank you so much for that. And also, I want to say a big thank you to the patrons who support what I do. You'll notice at the end of each of these videos, I always say, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and become a patron. And people do that, even if it's only a pound a month. You know, every bit helps, and it does help me put petrol in the car when I'm able to use the car. And it does help me to buy things and keep the channel going, because this now is my only form of income. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to you lot for supporting what I do. Last week we had Ask Me a Question, which was the SMT, the Senior Management Group that we call, who are basically a bunch of people who support what I do and help me with suggestions and do a bit of moderating on the various websites, the Facebook websites, and on the live shows that we do. Particularly Julia and Judith, who do the moderation, which is another big thank you, but also the rest of the team. They were interested in asking me some questions during the lockdown, and we had some great questions and hopefully some reasonable answers, so that was great. It hasn't been easy getting out, obviously, during the lockdown, and there have been comments from people who've said, oh Richard, you know, you shouldn't be going out at all. And of course that's not strictly true. We are allowed some exercise, and actually the rules seem to be a little bit more relaxed, as we have printed guidelines about the fact that you can indeed use your car to go a short distance, so that you can actually spend a longer time getting out into the countryside or wherever it is that you want to do your exercise. And of course I'm not encumbering my exercise with tripods and things. I've just basically got my little GoPro camera most of the time on a small handle, and I'm keeping moving so that people don't come across me and I'm not blocking a path and all of that. And so it hasn't been easy, but I have managed to get out, which is good news. And amazingly, more to myself than I think than anybody else, I've managed to get out and make some interesting discoveries as well. I'd not really walked round Ferring, and Ferring is only 3 odd miles away. I'd been to the main town of Ferring, but I hadn't sort of explored very much of it and really taken note of some of the amazing old buildings, particularly the lovely thatched buildings. And I'd never looked at the church. Now obviously we can't get into churches at the moment, but I'm making a note of those churches to go back and have a look at the architecture and the inside and try and learn some more of those stories so that I can bring that to you. And also I did a walk over to Kingston Gorse, which was fascinating, from the Ferring Rife, which I had been, I suppose, about 20 years ago, had walked up it. I hadn't been there since, and I thought, well, this is ridiculous. This is prime Bald Explorer territory. And as I walked to to Kingston Gorse from the Rife, we went through this wonderful farm that seemed to be back in the mists of time. Beautiful flint walls and thatched cottages. It was absolutely stunning. We've had such amazing weather that's made it all so much more worthwhile getting out, and I tend to go nice and early to avoid anybody else, so that obviously we keep everything safe. and bring these interesting places to you. One of the other things was I wanted to go to Lancing. Lancing's just down the road from me. Being in Worthing, I'd shown a number of places in Worthing, and I didn't want to push the envelope of going too far, but Lancing's only a couple of miles away, and I was interested to see the beach and what that's like. I mean, I've been to it obviously, but I wanted to show you guys the beach and some of the history of the properties and the architecture in the town. And I was learning stuff myself about the carriage building that had been going on there back in the beginning of the 1900s, of the beginning of the 20th century. And although I may not have pointed exactly where they were, it was sort of just the general direction, and to show how much change had gone on from this small little area down by the sea, and so much change in the last 100 years has taken place. And then of course I wanted to go to North Ferring, which is much older and goes back to the Saxon period, and where you see what was once the manor house, which is now the recreational centre. But all that, again, the church there, the beautiful old houses, timber frame houses, thatched houses, absolutely stunning little village surrounded by many more of the more modern buildings. So that was great fun. I'd managed to go out onto the South Downs when I'd actually recorded two. When I did my original escape to the South Downs, I went back again some days later when it was going to rain, and I was dressed up in all my rain gear thinking it was going to rain, but it didn't. It didn't actually rain till I got home, which was quite curious. And then the second time I'd managed to do two films, and I held off putting up the other one up, which I put up in the week. But it was lovely to see, you know, that open span of the South Downs, which is totally unique, really. And I'm missing it, as I'm sure so many other people are missing being able to get out and about. Although I think now that the rules are a little bit more relaxed, we can get out as long as we keep our physical distance and go perhaps wandering a little bit further on the South Downs, which is particularly nice. And one of the exquisite places that's very popular, so I went really, really early in the morning, was of course Sisbury Ring. And it was just sublime with the sun rising and the ponies out there. It just, you know, it made a fantastic video, and it was so gorgeous to be up there with some of the mist nestling in the combes. It was just very lovely to go there early in the morning, and just sort of before other hordes of people get up there, as being a popular place. And there are many more of these places on the Downs, little secretive passageways and tracks that one can get onto. And so I hope still to be able to find interesting places, even though we are still in this lockdown situation. Now, the other thing that I've been doing, and some of you I know will have known this, and some of you may not have realised, that every morning at 9:30 I've been reading from some classic texts. And we finished one book called English Journey, which was written by J.B. Priestley in 1933. And it was a snapshot of what England was like in the industrial towns during the Great Depression. And he starts down in Southampton. He makes his journey to Southampton from London, where he lives. And then he takes this long journey right up to the north of England. And we see him visit a lot of the working class places, and he's quite aghast at what he sees and the dismal life that people have had to lead, and how they've pretty much been left in this squalor in the Great Depression, just before, of course, the advent of the Second World War, which then gave a huge impetus to the country. But an amazing story, and I've been reading that in sort of 30-40 minute programs, which are still available on YouTube on the Bald Explorer channel under live. So if you don't see it immediately, if you look under the live, that's where that is. And we've started a new book now, Narrowboat by Lionel Rolt, LTC Rolt is more famously known. And this is a book written in 1944, very much at the beginning of the pleasure boat, I suppose, insurgence, where the canals were just dying and coming to a stop. The old working canals where you had a narrow boat being pulled by horses. And it was at that stage where many of them were being abandoned or had been forgotten. And as a result, actually, of Rolt's book, many of the abandoned canals were being restored. A lot of effort to restore many of them had taken place. And now, of course, we have this amazing network of canals that we can go on for holidays, and it's very much more for leisure these days, of course, but you can still go, as many people do, and explore the old industrial areas and see where much of the canal tradition took place. Absolutely fascinating. And reading, as I am now, Rolt's book, again, 9:30 in the morning every day, is really wonderful to unfold what was going on 90 odd years ago. It's absolutely fantastic. Or 80 years ago, I think. So yeah, so I'm still trying to produce lots of content for people, even though we're in this difficult lockdown. And today, the Sunday chat, just a way of me sort of reminding you some of the stuff that I've been up to, if you've missed some, because my content tends to go out every day and it's very easy to miss it. And of course, the other thing I've been doing ever since the lockdown is the Vobes show. Now, it's not for everybody. It's just a sort of get together of people who've got nothing to do at 8 o'clock in the evening. And I can't remember exactly how many shows, but I used to do it 3 days a week. Now I'm doing it every evening at 8 o'clock, the Vobes show during the lockdown, because I'm not going anywhere. For about an hour and a half, people are making their own videos. They're sending them to me of the landscape, heritage and nature, and we're playing them in, and we're having phone calls with people, and we're just having a chat about whatever's on our mind and whatever we want to get out of our system, and having a bit of a laugh. And that's on a channel called The Vobes Show rather than on the Bald Explorer. It's a separate sort of live broadcast. So details will be in the description for that. Anyway, so sorry, not a walk today. It's another beautiful day. I do want to get out, but hopefully another week coming up with some more walks. I can't tell you where I'm going because, to be honest with you, I never quite know what I'm going to do until the day before, and I'm thinking, where can I go? Where can I go? Where am I allowed to get out to? Anyway, thank you for watching this, and look after yourselves. Stay safe, and I will endeavour to make more videos. Don't forget to become a patron and support what I do. You'll get the Naked Englishman podcast if you are a patron, which comes out to you daily, mostly. And of course, it helps me make more videos. So don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, and I will see you out and about on the next one. Until then, bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.